Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve success so naturally, while others struggle for years with little progress? What's the real difference between those who build lasting wealth and wisdom and those who don't? The answer often comes down to one word: discipline. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because here we uncover powerful lessons that can change the course of your life.
1. Daily success practices. Success isn't built in a single breakthrough moment. It's the product of small, consistent actions. Jim Rohn once said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." That statement captures a timeless truth. Greatness doesn't arrive through luck or one grand event. It is cultivated through habits, routines, and choices that compound over time. Think about the small actions you take each day: reading for 30 minutes, journaling your thoughts, setting a clear intention for the day, exercising, or even having meaningful conversations. At first glance, these actions may seem insignificant, even too small to matter. But just like water dripping consistently on a stone eventually carves a groove, those seemingly minor choices shape your identity, your future, and your results. Imagine a person who reads just 10 pages a day. In one day, it doesn't feel like much, but in a year, that's 3,650 pages, the equivalent of several books filled with ideas, strategies, and wisdom that will sharpen their perspective. Now compare that to someone who reads nothing, who scrolls through social media instead, or drifts aimlessly without direction. The difference between those two people after a year might not be dramatic, but after 5 years, after 10 years, the one who committed to daily practices will have knowledge, confidence, and insight that the other cannot easily replicate. That's the compounding effect of discipline. Daily success practices also anchor you when life feels uncertain. Routines create stability, and stability produces resilience. When you know that no matter what happens, you will wake up and meditate, you will write your goals, or you will move your body, you start building trust with yourself. You're no longer at the mercy of mood, circumstance, or chance. Instead, you are guided by discipline. This trust compounds into self-respect. Self-respect then fuels self-confidence, and self-confidence opens the door to bigger opportunities. One of the mistakes people often make is overestimating what they can do in a day, but underestimating what they can do in a year through consistency. They want success immediately, and when it doesn't come quickly, they abandon the practice. But Jim Rohn emphasized patience. Small efforts repeated daily are the bricks of long-term achievement. Just as you cannot get fit from one workout or wealthy from one good investment, you cannot expect life-changing results from occasional effort. The key is steadiness. Daily success practices also expand beyond career or money. They touch every aspect of life. Your health improves with consistent exercise and better nutrition. Your relationships deepen with consistent communication, appreciation, and presence. Your personal growth accelerates when you consistently expose yourself to new ideas, mentors, and challenges. Each practice becomes a seed planted in the soil of your future, and over time, a garden of success blooms. In the end, the question is not whether you will succeed, it's whether you are willing to commit to the simple disciplines that lead to success. The world is full of people waiting for a miracle, but the real miracle lies in the ordinary actions we repeat daily. If you want to predict your future, look at your routines. Your habits are the blueprint of your destiny, and every day, through your choices, you are building the story of your life.
2. Wisdom from consistency. Consistency is where wisdom grows. Anyone can try something once, but repeating it day after day forces you to master it. Through repetition, we don't just build skills, we uncover patterns, insights, and truths that remain hidden from those who give up too quickly. The wisdom you're searching for is not in the big moment, but in the quiet, repeated choices you make. Think of learning to play a musical instrument. The first time you pick up a guitar, your fingers stumble, the chords buzz, and the sound is unpleasant. Play again, and you improve slightly. Play every day for a year, and suddenly music flows effortlessly from your hands. But here's the deeper truth. The value isn't only in the ability to play, it's in the patience, the discipline, and the self-awareness you cultivate through the repetition. That's wisdom. Consistency also teaches humility. At first, you may expect quick results, but persistence humbles you into recognizing that true mastery cannot be rushed. This humility is powerful because it shifts your perspective from chasing outcomes to embracing the process. You stop asking, "When will I get there?" and instead begin to enjoy the daily rhythm of improvement. Over time, the process itself becomes the reward. Wisdom grows in consistency because repetition reveals both strengths and weaknesses. By consistently writing, you discover your unique voice. By consistently working on your craft, you uncover blind spots you never noticed before. Without this steady effort, those lessons remain hidden. Sporadic action gives you flashes of insight, but consistent action gives you clarity. It's the difference between glimpsing the surface of a lake and diving deep to explore its depths. Consider how consistency shapes character. A person who shows up daily, even when they don't feel like it, becomes reliable, not just in the eyes of others, but in their own eyes. They know they can depend on themselves. That reliability builds resilience, and resilience is a form of wisdom because it reminds you that emotions are temporary, but commitments must endure. You realize that discipline can carry you when motivation fades. In relationships, consistency is the foundation of trust. It's not the occasional grand gesture that builds deep bonds, but the repeated small actions, listening, showing kindness, offering encouragement that create lasting connections. Just as wisdom in work comes from repetition, wisdom in love and friendship comes from consistently being present and dependable. Even in personal growth, wisdom is tied to repetition. Reading one book might inspire you, but reading daily transforms your mindset and your perception of life. The wisdom you gain is not just intellectual, it becomes embodied knowledge ingrained into your very way of being. Ultimately, consistency is the bridge between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing what to do. Wisdom is understanding why and how to do it consistently. The person who stays committed learns lessons that can't be taught in theory. They can only be lived. Every time you repeat an action, you add another layer of understanding, another thread to the fabric of your character. So remember, wisdom is not a lightning strike, but a sunrise. It arrives gradually, steadily, as you show up again and again. The moments may feel ordinary, but over time they become extraordinary. If you want wisdom, don't chase the spectacular. Practice the simple things consistently, and wisdom will quietly, inevitably grow within you.
3. Money as a reflection of effort. We often think money is just about numbers, but Jim Rohn reminds us that money is a mirror. It reflects your value, your habits, and your discipline. If you increase your skills, manage your time wisely, and keep your promises to yourself, your financial rewards will naturally follow. Wealth is rarely an accident. It's usually a reflection of effort and discipline. Money is not simply currency. It is feedback. It tells you how well you are serving, solving problems, and contributing value. If your income isn't where you want it to be, It's not just about asking for more, it's about becoming more. This is one of Rohn's central teachings. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become. When you develop new skills, increase your knowledge, and discipline your habits, money becomes the natural byproduct of your growth. Think about it this way. If you become twice as valuable to the marketplace, your income potential doubles. That doesn't happen overnight, but through daily effort. Reading, training, networking, practicing, refining your craft. Money then is a scorecard of your development. It shows whether you are expanding or staying stagnant. Of course, money also reflects your habits. Even if you earn well, poor financial habits will drain your resources. Someone who spends recklessly, who saves nothing, who invests nothing, will always feel poor no matter their income. On the other hand, someone with disciplined habits, living below their means, saving consistently, investing wisely, will build wealth steadily over time. Money is not only earned, it is managed, and how you manage it reflects your discipline. Money also mirrors your relationship with time. If you waste hours on unproductive activities, that neglect will show up in your finances. But if you invest time intentionally, learning, building, creating, serving, you turn time into value, and value into money. This doesn't mean becoming obsessed with money itself, but with the disciplines that lead to it. The key insight is this: wealth is rarely luck. Yes, some inherit or stumble into it, but lasting wealth, wealth that stays, multiplies, and blesses others, comes from habits of effort and discipline. Jim Rohn often said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That mindset transforms frustration into fuel. Instead of resenting your current income, you begin asking, how can I grow so that my value increases? That shift puts the power back in your hands. It's also important to see money as a tool, not the ultimate goal. Money reveals effort, but its true purpose is in what it allows: freedom, security, generosity, and impact. When you discipline yourself financially, you gain not only wealth, but also the ability to live with peace and to give with joy. That is the highest reflection of your effort, not just accumulating money for yourself, but creating enough value to bless others. In conclusion, money is not just about numbers, it's about character. It reflects who you are becoming, what you value, and how disciplined you are with your gifts. If you want more money, don't just focus on money, focus on growth. Increase your skills, guard your time, keep your promises, and develop habits of discipline. In doing so, money will come naturally, not as a stroke of luck, but as a reflection of the person you have become.
4. Growing through daily disciplines. Discipline is often misunderstood as a form of restriction or punishment, when in reality, it is the foundation upon which true freedom and growth are built. To be disciplined is not to be bound, it is to be guided. Every small act of discipline, whether it is waking up early, completing a task, exercising self-control, or honoring your commitments, acts like a seed planted in the soil of your future. Just as no tree grows overnight, no character is formed in a single day. But with time, those seeds take root, sprout, and become strong enough to withstand storms. Discipline is not about the pain of denial, but about the promise of transformation. It is about choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. And with each consistent choice, you are not only achieving external results, but reshaping the very fabric of your inner world. Daily disciplines shape the way you think and perceive yourself. For instance, someone who commits to journaling every morning learns clarity of thought and presence of mind. Someone who practices meditation or prayer each day cultivates inner calm and resilience against stress. Someone who consistently exercises develops not just a healthier body, but also a stronger will.
These repeated actions, though small in the moment, accumulate into something far greater over time. The human brain and character are like clay. They are molded by repeated touch, and it is discipline that does the shaping. Each day you practice discipline, you are writing into yourself a story of perseverance, reliability, and strength. Consider how athletes train. A runner does not simply appear at a marathon and succeed. Their victory is written in the miles they ran months before the race. A musician does not perform flawlessly on stage by accident. Their excellence is built on countless hours of practice, scales, and repetition. In the same way, your own success in career, relationships, health, or personal growth depends on what you do every single day. The glamorous results people admire are just the surface. Beneath them lies the bedrock of consistent discipline that nobody sees. That hidden labor is what makes the visible glory possible. In this sense, discipline is the invisible architect of growth, quietly but powerfully shaping the outcome of your life. But discipline is not just about the end results. It is about who you become along the way. When you hold yourself to a standard of consistency, you develop a trust in yourself. You know that when you commit, you will follow through. That self-trust is invaluable, for it spills over into every aspect of life. It creates confidence, not the shallow kind that depends on praise or achievement, but the deep kind that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. And when setbacks inevitably come, as they always do, it is discipline that carries you forward. Talent can give you a head start. Luck can give you opportunities, but only discipline ensures that you endure long enough to see growth manifest. In essence, growth is never an accident. It is the fruit of discipline, planted in daily choices, watered with effort, and grown in the sunlight of consistency. A person who embraces discipline is not being punished, but being prepared. Every act of discipline is a rehearsal for greater things. Over time, these rehearsals create mastery, strength, and wisdom. And while the undisciplined chase quick rewards that fade as quickly as they arrive, the disciplined cultivate steady progress that compounds over a lifetime. To grow is to be disciplined. To be disciplined is to choose growth every single day.
5. A lifetime of rewards. When discipline becomes a way of life rather than a temporary effort, the rewards extend far beyond what most people imagine. The immediate benefits, like better health, stronger finances, or increased productivity, are only the beginning. The true rewards are deeper, richer, and far more enduring. A disciplined life gives you confidence because you know you are not at the mercy of circumstances. It gives you peace of mind because you no longer live in chaos or regret. It gives you wisdom because the habits of reflection, learning, and consistency sharpen your judgment over time. These are rewards that no one can take away from you because they become part of who you are. In the end, money and success can be lost, but character remains. And character is the greatest reward of all. One of the most powerful fruits of discipline is freedom. Paradoxically, the very structure that discipline imposes ends up liberating you. Consider financial discipline. By consistently saving, investing, and living below your means, you free yourself from the stress of debt and the anxiety of scarcity. You gain the ability to make choices not from desperation, but from intention. Consider physical discipline. By exercising regularly and eating with care, you gain the freedom of mobility, energy, and longevity. Consider intellectual discipline. By reading, studying, and refining your thoughts, you free yourself from ignorance and confusion, opening doors to opportunities others cannot even perceive.
In every realm, discipline is the bridge that takes you from limitation to liberty. Beyond freedom, discipline also brings influence. People naturally look to those who live with consistency and strength. A disciplined individual becomes a source of inspiration, not because they preach, but because they embody what others secretly desire. They prove that it is possible to live with purpose and order in a world often ruled by distraction and laziness. Your life, when disciplined, becomes a quiet testimony that others notice. You begin to inspire without effort, simply by the integrity of your example. And in time, that inspiration multiplies, creating a ripple effect. A disciplined parent raises children who learn stability and perseverance. A disciplined leader builds teams who trust and follow. A disciplined friend uplifts those around them by modeling reliability and strength. Perhaps the most profound reward of discipline is the legacy it creates. Legacies are not built in a single act of greatness, but in the accumulation of small, steady choices made over a lifetime. A disciplined life is remembered not just for achievements, but for the enduring impact it leaves on others. The way you lived, the order, the values, the consistency becomes a pattern for those who follow. Long after material wealth has faded, the character you forged through discipline continues to shape future generations. This is why the Stoics often taught that the true prize of discipline was not external gain, but internal transformation. For in becoming disciplined, you become the kind of person whose very being is the reward. In the end, discipline is not about deprivation, but about abundance. It gives you not only the external rewards of success, but also the internal treasures of confidence, wisdom, peace, and influence. When you look back on a disciplined life, you do not remember the sacrifices as losses. You remember them as the investments that made your freedom, growth, and legacy possible. The money, the achievements, the recognition, all of those are temporary. But the person you become and the lives you touch through that transformation endure far beyond your lifetime. Discipline is not just a practice. It is a gift you give to yourself and to everyone your life touches. And when it becomes your lifestyle, the rewards are not measured in years, but in generations.
So let me leave you with this. What simple discipline can you start today that your future self will thank you for? Remember, every great life is built one decision at a time. If this message spoke to you, make sure to subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and keep showing up for yourself, because your best life is waiting on the other side of discipline.